And welcome. This is IFB Exclusive, everyone. I'm your host, New York Pete. Get ready for the inside track on all kinds of behind the scenes news from the sci fi, fantasy, and thriller genres. And with us on our show today is none other than retired Army Colonel Alexander and Tambascia. Is that correct, Colonel? Did I say that
Tambascia,
correct?
close enough.
Okay, well, it's important, but you're the author of ODAT, Orbital Drop Armor Team. It's military sci-fi, and thank you first and foremost for being on the show. Let's thank all the fans for tuning in. Fans fuel the fleet. Without them, we wouldn't have anything going on. So that's big to do, of course. And so tell me a little bit about yourself and why. Are you a sci-fi fan? And then tell me about why this book is special.
Well, yeah, I am the sci-fi fan. I like to consider myself. I mean, I got involved with the early, creators. Jules Verne, Asimov, Vonnegut, and I've been hooked on it ever since. And depending on the fan group, either someone going to hate me, someone like me, because I have to admit that if given a choice between Star Wars and Star Trek, I will lean towards Star Trek. Uh,
Okay,
and
nothing wrong
in
with
Star
that.
and in Star Wars, I think the Empire are the good guys. So, but
All good, all good.
so a little bit about me. I served 28 years in the United States Army. I came in as a mosquito wing private, went to OCS, became an officer, made it lieutenant colonel, and I've been through 4 campaigns for our country, and it's it's kind of weird how this all came about. Why I made this. I was at the VA, and the VA said, you're terminal because all the exposures you have. You don't have you only have best 5 years.
Whoa.
And I reached out to Jonathan Yanis, who's another great author, good fan, love him as a brother, and he put me in his he kind of put me in his storyline, because I just didn't want to be one of those guys who get forever forgotten, and so kind of a personal thing. And as Jonathan was getting to know me and know my story, he turns around and says to me, he goes, you really need to write your own story. You really need to tell people your life. And I said, John, I'm not a writer. I don't have your magic. And he turns around and he says, you know what? He goes, you know who Kurt Vonnegut is? I said, of course I did. Brave New World. Everyone knows about him. The Alphabet's, the Betas. And he says, you do realize that book was his personal autobiography written in a sci-fi setting about his drug addiction. I said, I didn't know that. I said, that no. And he goes, well, if Kurt Vonnegut can do it, why can't you? And so I started ODAT as a way of, being cathartic with helping me deal with my PTSD, dealing with a lot of the chaos, that the chaos, the violence, the culture, being through 4 campaigns, there's things I've seen that would if I explain what I've seen, some members of the audience might throw up because it's been that violent. So I started writing this book, ODAT, and in the book, and I even say this in the preface, is that this is my autobiography written in a sci-fi setting. So events that I mention are actual events.
Wow.
I talk about in book 1 about K4 and S4, and the way I describe the theater is if you served there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's light bulbs, and I've had several people come to me and they said that they love how I explained K4 in such a way that made it unique, but they understood it well. Their friends who aren't military just had no idea what I was talking about. And and I also did something very, very unique. Is I'm actually in the book like an autobiography. So
Nice.
my name is in the book, and it starts with me being as a lieutenant, graduating from army school. because frankly, no one cares about my enlisted life. Everyone cares about me being an officer. When I was driving tanks and blowing shit up. So I so I started. It starts out as me as a second lieutenant Butterbar, and I talk about my things. So, and I tell people like the names of people like you mean are they're real people. My relationships with all of them are real. So it helps. So people are seeing my life story from K4, S4, Afghanistan, Iraq, Jordan. It's all there and just broken up into a sci-fi setting, mainly for two reasons. One, I found out I actually have a talent for writing sci-fi, according to my fan groups. Thank you very much, everyone who rated my book. And
Of course.
I actually have a talent. And the fact is also, being prior military, to avoid having to deal with all that stuff of submitting my stuff to the government, if I put it in a sci-fi setting, I can always say anything I write is fiction. So, the government, I don't have to worry about the government coming back at me and saying, you wrote in your first book something that was classified.
So there's ways around it. So obviously you've touched on, right? You checked off the box why this is unique, and why your book. I mean, if you want to get a taste for real military sci-fi, I don't know, it doesn't get any more real than that. I mean, you gave it the sci-fi world building setting, but the events themselves, and like you said, it's about you and your experiences. So I mean, this is got to have some real teeth to it. One of your there was an article that was published about the book, and I want to read this. This was published July 8th, 2023, so it's not quite a year old. And it says, readers will be immersed in a captivating narrative that blends the resiliency of Heartbreak Ridge with the relentless action of Starship Troopers and enriched by Star Trek-like ambiance.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty. Pretty hard on. I mean, when you read the book, I will not deny it. You will see a lot of Highland influences.
Cool, very cool.
So that's definitely it there. The the book is very unique, and I actually found where that sets me apart from any other sci-fi book is I actually had someone come to me and they said whether it's science fiction or not, I wrote what war really is, not what the movie is. He said when he read my book, he was getting flashbacks of when he was there.
Right.
And I think that's really important because I don't, not to knock on him, I mean, Yanez, Haskell, Butcher, Allenson, I know them all. They are a great people, amazing people. So, but they kind of write their books more as entertainment. I write mine, one to help with my PTSD and other people with their PTSD, by reading it and seeing how I endured. But also, I want people to understand the war through my eyes,
right?
What I seen, the blood, I mean, there is a scene in my book one where I talk about my first time I did a hand-to-hand kill. And, I talk about how looking into that guy's eyes as I was taking his life away, as I was stabbing him with a bayonet. And I go into that very detail because I want people to understand, even today, I don't think civilians truly understand what war is like. They know what Hollywood is.
Right.
They know about the Private Ryans and they know about the Clint Eastwood, but they don't understand what it really felt like to be there.
Right.
And that's what I hope to do with my book is to help, help my brothers and sisters who served, but also to help those who never served understand what we went through. Why are we, when we get to retirement, we're so salty and angry and grumpy? My book explains that.
Well, that's good. That's excellent. And again, that's what makes your particular brand what it's going to be. real quick, Colonel, I just want to actually recognize some of our live audience. Lola, Bert, another author that's a big supporter of IFB, Bert Oliver Bomer. Thank you, Bert, for tuning in. Lola, of course, from Florida. And I know I see Paul and I see Mike DeBrune, and anybody else put up a quick question or comment so I could recognize you. Thanks for tuning in. And for all of you that are going to watch later, Colonel, we get up to tens of thousands that might watch this afterwards, after the fact. So we have a small core that actually will tune in now with us live. But then, like I said, some of this stuff takes off. It has a life of its own. But going back to your work, how did you create the setting, the world building, right? So the reality, the story, right, comes from you. But how did you then create that umbrella that, you put over it, that sci-fi, coding?
Well, one, I set the theme. Yeah, I kind of give the thing, if I may, let me read how I set let me set the world up. Okay. Now you're asking yourself, how the fuck did I end up at the ass end of the galaxy on a dust bowl planet on a plateau in a box canyon, prepared to take on a battalion of some very angry spiders? To be honest, I'm asking myself the same question. However, to understand this, you need to understand everything that got me to here in the first place. Now, when I tell you all this, for starters, you need to understand I'm a dad, a dumbass tanker. So some of this will sound Barney style, but bear with me. My story begins back in the late 20th century. And I kicked the first chapter off right from there on to talking about my gay dad graduating at Fort Knox back when, armor used to be in Fort Knox. And, for the record, that is always be the armor school to me, Fort Knox. And so it starts up there. And I said, okay, if I'm going to build a world, I want something that's unique and has my kind of dark side to it. And so I said, okay, what would happen if aliens came to Earth back when I graduated armor school, and instead of us being they're coming to make visits and stuff, they're actually coming to hire us to be their military to serve the empire. And I chose an empire for this because how can I put this? Not to sound like a traitor. I believe in American. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in all this. It's that when I approach of the world, what would be the most efficient government to rule over the vast distances of interstellar travel space? And it's not democracy. I'm sorry. Sorry, Roddenberry. I know you believe in the Federation, but it ain't democracy. I chose an empire because there is a built-in hierarchy there that helps keep order. And that's why I have this empire, this galactic empire that has already 2 species in the books that serve. And because they're expanding, they want to bring another species, us Terrans. I use the Latin term of Terra and Terrans because I always hate the word Earthling. I never liked that. I always felt like when being called a Terran felt better than if someone said to me, "You're an Earthling." This sounds, what am I, a hobbit? So I made the empire came up, and we were going to come in, and my character, it's very metaphorical and symbolic of when I came from enlisted into an officer. I was literally entering a brave new world, and all my hardships and learning through the school of hard knocks is reflected in the book. Except I made it, me trying to serve in this alien military, trying, being the first group of Terrans that get indoctrinated into the galactic battlefield, and realizing, humans as a species, we are not very efficient. We're compared to other aliens, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're more, they have more resiliency. They the only thing we have going for us is that we can talk and we have brains. and and the other thing that I do introduce that's very unique to us as Americans especially is, how to be a sneaky ass bastard to get the mission done. So that's in the book. And I talk about some of the things I've done and I do highlight all the stupid shit I did in the military. There is a part in the book where I talk about when we were on tank table 12, no, tank table 8, qualifying on a tank at Fort Drum. And we're doing the next nighttime exercises. And what happens is, because you did the range during the day, where the targets pop up. So as soon as you see it pop up in the night vision, you just fire. Well, the stupid deer got up and got in front of the target just when I saw the thermal, and I just said fire, not identifying that it was a deer, not one of the silhouette tanks, and it just blew the deer apart. And well, trust me. Talk about the dark humor of the unit I served with. His name was, at the time, he was Lieutenant Chris Burns. He took the head and hung it above the mess hall, saying, "Today's dinner brought by the deer slayer." Yeah, I never lived that down.
And that's all part of the book, right? I mean, this is part of the story. So it brings, it brings a different element to, what the readers are getting, which is totally unique. Baz from Down Under is watching with us. Baz, another support IFB. Baz, thanks for joining us. We're talking here. I'm going to put up a little bit of, there you go. It's ODAT, Orbital Drop Armor Team, and it's been out for, I guess it's less than a year, correct, Colonel? It hasn't been quite a year that the book's been out.
It'll be a year this August.
This August, right? So, well, being that what it is, the scoop, you got to give us a scoop. What's the scoop tonight, Colonel?
I actually, before the show, just finished book 2. And book 2 will be going on pre-order from Amazon in June. And I would highly recommend, I know some people like to pick up a book anywhere in the story and read it. I highly recommend to people, before you read my book 2, read my book 1. Otherwise, you will be completely lost in book 2.
Okay, fair enough.
It is, that's it's entertaining. It's an entertaining book, and I think what also sets my book apart is, unlike other books where the protagonist, he's always, the ideal perfect soldier. He does things, he wins, he always gets expert. My character, which is I put myself, is I get through life with just plain dumb luck. I'm not, I don't, we're sitting here and I'm talking about PT. And the aliens are doing 130 push-ups, and I'm just happy doing my 65 and calling it done. So I'm definitely, my book does not portray me in any way as some massive superhero. In fact, a lot of the people came to me and they said, they asked me, was the book about you or about your character Gunny? Because it seems like you put a lot of praise. I said, I knew her name was Gunny Korenkov with the United States Marine Corps, 1st Expeditionary Force, hoorah! And she saved my life a few times. Let's put it that way. So I purposely downplayed myself to play her up because she in saving my life, she lost hers, and that's a really hard blood debt to pay back.
Right.
To live with that, and I wanted to honor her, and so by making her this very influential character, I felt in some way I was, paying her back for, stopping me from, having a sucking chest wound, because everyone knows it sucks to be you if you have one of those.
Wow. So your second book is in a draft form. You finished it. You're going to be sending it out, and does that mean there's going to be a third or
Yes,
more?
yes.
Nice.
Um, and the reason there is, well, first reason because there's going to be a second one was because of the fans. I can't thank my fans enough. I can't thank all the beautiful comments you wrote on Amazon about me. But they came and less than a week the book being out, I was getting bombarded on social media, in my fan page and everything. When is book 2 coming out? And one of the guys said, you ended the book so beautifully. You ended it like an asshole. I'm like, okay, that's praise. That is praise. Because I left it at a cliffhanger.
Okay.
So, book 2, so that made me to do book 2. And as I was writing book 2, I already had people asking me, book 2's not even out yet. When is book 3 coming? So I'm planning to do a third book of my personal life. And then I'm going to step away from that and create a different arc in the same universe, but will be 100% fiction.
Okay.
I will be, and so I'm going to, and it's going to talk about a different part of the empire as well. So it's going to be, where my 3 books are going to be talking about the imperial forces, the imperial military. There's going to be another group. It's sort of like the imperial police force, and so
Oh,
it's going to be a completely
interesting.
separate story, but in the same universe.
Very cool. And is
you know.
that, and then do you see that as another trilogy?
Well, yeah. Well, actually, more than a trilogy.
Okay.
Basically, give you guys heard it here first, so you're getting a thumbs up to all my other fans. The arc I'm thinking about is, this is an empire, so let's have some fun with the empire. So with the empire hierarchy. So as well as there's the imperial military, I came up with a police force called the Imperial Knights, and the Imperial Knights serve and protect the aristocracy of the empire, and they serve as a police force on colonies and stuff like that. So I was going to talk about my character starting as a squire, moving up to book 2 as a knight select, meaning that he's ready to become a knight. Book 3, him as a knight. Book 4 as him choosing a specialty as a knight, and have, it's going to probably be maybe 4 or 5 books in that arc.
Excellent. Wow. So that's on top of, right? So that would be the spin-off once you finish up your trilogy on the orbital drop armor team, right? Your first book is named Baptized in Blood. It's
Mhm.
available on Amazon. And now you're saying that the next one is it going to be up for pre-order yet? Your book
Pre-order
two?
in June.
In June.
June.
Excellent. So I gotta ask, did you set up a cover for it yet? Did you approve that?
Yes,
Oh, you
I did
did?
have a cover.
Excellent.
You know, um,
Fantastic.
in fact, I was going to send that to you when I come back in June to talk about the book launch.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be
Um,
fantastic.
yeah.
So,
Oh,
Colonel, what else?
real quick,
Are you,
one of my fans. Uh, why am I wearing the Stetson? Uh, well, one, I'm a cavalry officer, and this is the first thing you earn as a cavalry officer. You earn your Stetson, you earn your spurs, you earn your saber. So, I earned it. I'm very proud of it. And what happened is, when I went to my first event as an author, I was wearing the Stetson, and that's how everyone recognized who I was. So it kind of became my signature, and that's why I'm wearing the Stetson here. Okay, as you were saying.
very cool. Very cool. George G is announced. George, thanks for joining. So I was asking about your appearances. Are you going to be pushing this at cons, or do you do conventions like appearances, book signing?
um, well, the only convention I'm going to, because I was invited to go with Jeffrey Haskell, is DragonCon, and I will be
Okay.
there. Um, I'm a brand new author with 1 book. It's really, really hard to get invited to go to cons,
Okay.
when you're such a brand new author. And so Jeffrey Haskell, who wrote, many science fictions, he he said, "Why don't you come with me? Come with me. We'll get in. Get you used to understanding how to work a con and how to do book signings." And so that's going to be my first event. And hopefully going from there, I'll be on. But, you know, the one thing I do have, I do offer to all my fans is if you buy my hardcover, I give a personalized autograph for free when you see me. So,
Outstanding.
that's my way of thanking you for buying the hardcover versus the ebook, and so I do
It's
that.
available. It's available as a paperback, Colonel. It's not.
Correct.
I'm looking at your Amazon, so it is available as a paperback. Now
Hardcover coming soon.
coming soon. Okay, well, we're gonna IFB will have a presence at Dragon Con. A lot of our fans are going to be attending. So if you keep us posted, let us know exactly where you're going to be. We're going to send some of the fans over to you and make sure they say hello. I believe that my co-host from IFB Interfleet Broadcasting, the Tipsy Toaster, I believe is scheduled to be at Dragon Con this year as well. So they will be able to do an interview from the convention. I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Are you bringing copies with you or
Yes,
not?
yes.
You will.
Yeah, yeah. Jeff, that's one thing Jeffrey said. He says, um, definitely bring, about 20, 30 books with you. And I also have, it's actually right here. Okay.
I hope it's covers. Do you have printed covers that you're going
Well,
to take with you?
I am going to get pretty covered, but I do offer, I will also have bookmarks.
Oh,
Yep.
outstanding.
So, I'll be having books with bookmarks. And so anyone who buys the book, you're going to get a free signature from me and one of my exclusive bookmarks. And I am planning to make both big prints of both book 1 and book 2 covers. So I'm planning to do
Excellent.
that. And hopefully I'm also going to take a picture and have a couple made up with me with Gail Godot, because she's one of my biggest fans. I
Oh,
found out.
really?
Yes,
Cool.
she loves my book.
No kidding.
In fact,
Excellent.
she loves it so much that I had to make her a character in book 2. So if you're a Gail Godot fan, you're gonna want book 2.
Very good. Very good. Oh, good selling point. So IFB exclusive. We got a bunch of exclusives. He finished writing the second book today, and that's gonna be you said June for
Pre-order
pre-orders.
and
You're
actual
going
street date in 5 August.
Okay, and then we have your Dragon Con appearance,
Mhm.
and you told us about some of the stuff that the merch that you're gonna have with you. It's your first convention, so we got a bunch of scoops. Colonel, we want you back. Once things are ready, when you're ready to announce that book 2, and of course, whatever else you have. Let's set up a date for you to come on our regular IFB Interfleet broadcasting, and we'll have a longer interview. We'll get into some more of the writing, the world building. As a matter of fact, we have a couple of others that have dropped in. Mediocre Modeler, thanks for tuning in. None other than award-winning filmmaker director George Zuvalos. Thank you
Wow.
for dropping in, George. Appreciate the support. And so if anyone wants to get ODAT, Orbital Drop Armor Team, go on to I think Amazon is probably Amazon's probably the best. So one last question, Colonel, is audiobook. Is this going to be an audiobook?
Yes. I have contracted with Hoyt Audio Productions. It's going to be tag teamed with him and his wife. He's going to do all the male voices. His wife's going to do all the female voices, and I will be using them for all 3 books.
Excellent.
And I kind of really like the idea of having both the male and female. I think it brings realism to it. And for people to want to know more about it or know more about, please join my social media group in Facebook called Imperial Command. Just drop by, you just type in Imperial Command in the search box, and you'll find us. It has a picture of a tank, and it says Imperial Command. You can't miss it. Sign in there, because I give a lot of exclusive content just there. I've been posting exclusive content about the races with pictures. So if you want to know, when you read the book, if you have already read the book, you want to what does a Volpe look like? Well, I'm posted that in my group, so see there. And of course, always you can follow me through my publisher, Valkyrie's Fury, at valkyriesfury.com. You can also go there. and sign up for their newsletter. And so those are the two easiest ways of getting me, is either through the Facebook with the Imperial Command, or through my publisher at Valkyrie's Fury.
Outstanding. Colonel, thank you so much for taking the time out and sharing all the scoops with us. We've basically run out of time on our short little IFB exclusive, but we want you back. We want to know more. We want to hear all about the rest of the story and the next installment. So I'm just going to thank all the fans. Here's to all you guys out there. Fans fuel the fleet. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you on Thursdays live on IFB Interfleet Broadcasting with the Tipsy Toaster and myself and our regular crew. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Best of luck, Colonel. All the best. Stay well. And we'll see you soon, all right?
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone who came to listen to my story and about me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Later, guys.